slightest. I'm bored. What plaything can you offer me today?
An obscure body in the SK system, Your Majesty. The inhabitants refer to it as
the Hail Ming Power Hour.
And welcome to episode 38 of the Hail Ming Power Hour. I am Rick, one of your hosts, and if you're familiar with the show, or if you're not, you know that our names are fake, the people are fake. Well, no, our names are real, I guess, but everything about this show is fake except possibly the movie. Is that right, Danny?
That's right. Yeah, and actually our names are fake too, to protect the innocent.
Right, because my real name's Ferdinand, and I just can't have that out there.
Yeah, and I'm Archibald Barisal. There's a comedy routine about me.
So yeah, man, welcome to 38, and we're going to talk about one of our favorite monster movies, Pumpkinhead, from 1988.
And Pumpkinhead, I mean, it's one of those movies that Stan Winston made it, and because there's about, 50% of the movie is just Pumpkinhead walking around.
Yeah.
And it's worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely get into a lot of the ideas and what we love about that movie. It's just a favorite. I mean, I know Danny has a Pumpkinhead t-shirt. If you watch the YouTube channel that we've got out there, some of our episodes, you get to see that on the screen. It's a very, very awesome shirt.
Well, and I've got a little Pumpkinhead. He lives in my closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one too.
He doesn't live in my closet.
Oh, back in the day, of course, we're both Tennessee guys, but we had Opryland, which was a big amusement park, and they had this ride called the Chaos, and it was an indoor 3D roller coaster, and I swear to this day that when you ride that, there's a part where you're heading towards this wall, and there is a Pumpkinhead sculpture that was hanging out of the wall, and it had like a strobe light on it. It's Pumpkinhead, man. I wish somebody had pictures of that so we could prove it, but I swear it was Pumpkinhead.
And just like you said, we're Tennesseans. We're here in the country. It wasn't just a sculpture; it was actually Pumpkinhead.
It's real.
I mean, every once in a while, the car would come through, and one of the people that had been on the cart would be gone.
Oh, I just wonder how they paid Pumpkinhead as far as just sitting there all the time.
It was every once in a while they just give him somebody. They were like, "Hey, you want to kill somebody today?" Yeah, okay.
Okay, sounds good.
But on ride 3, whoever on the far right, just go ahead and grab them.
So yeah, man, we love this movie. It's a lot of folklore and legend that's tied into it. So it's going to be a fun episode to talk about. So you guys stick around and we'll be right back.
The Hail Ming Power Hour is brought to you by the Running Man Home Game. Get stocked in your own home. And loyal subjects of Mongo like you. Hail Ming! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Good Morning Mongo. As you can see, I'm recovering well after falling on my sword for Emperor Ming. And speaking of recovering well, our next guest is a man we all thought had died. But thanks to Mongo Medical, he is here today to share his story. Please welcome head of the Secret Police Force, and lead torturer, Clytus. Clytus, welcome. Please, have a seat.
What distance?
Anywhere you'd like to sit is fine. It's good to see you. You know, we all thought you had died.
No one, but no one, dies in the palace without a command from the Emperor.
Well, you certainly have proved that. Walk us through what you went through. What's the first thing the Imperial Surgeon did for you?
Test object for life waves.
After finding these life waves, what did he do then?
Bring it through safely. Land it.
That is amazing. How do you feel now?
Most effective, Your Majesty.
I'm glad to hear it. You know, you don't have to call me Your Majesty.
Oh dear. How pathetic.
Okay. You know, a lot of people have been sending well wishes. We've received a lot of cards and letters and food. Gordon Ramsay, in fact, just sent a cake.
The tributes of the Hawkmen will be first.
Sure. Here's a card that says, "Sorry you were impaled on our spiked platform. Sincerely, Voltan." Isn't that nice?
Now he showed promise. Now the tributes from Ardentia.
Yeah, about that, Ardentia did not send any get well cards for you. I apologize. Seems they're still a little upset with the whole Prince Thun thing. Yeah.
Yes, I anticipated that.
So what about your personal life? Are you seeing anyone?
An obscure body in the SK system.
Tell us about her. Have you gone on many dates?
An interesting girl. I think she found it rather enjoyable.
That's nice. What else can you tell us about her?
She even rivals your daughter.
Okay, Clytus, first, I don't have a daughter. And second, if I did, that would be a highly inappropriate comment.
Who said that?
Well, it's just common decency.
Who are you?
Are you okay? You seem a bit edgy. Would you like something to drink or some of this Gordon Ramsay cake here?
Your lover, Barin, is harboring Gordon in Aboria, is he not?
I don't think so. Last I heard, Ramsay was in Edinburgh filming the new season of Kitchen Nightmares. And wait, did you just call Baron my lover?
This lying is such a waste of time.
Who do you imagine you're protecting? The Imperial Surgeon who revived Gordon in his tomb? Another lover of yours?
I'm not sure what's going on here. Hang on, I'm getting a message from the Imperial Surgeon. Oh, okay. I've just been informed that Clytus's meds may have some strange side effects.
Seize the Imperial Surgeon on suspicion of treason. Prepare for torture!
Actually, the Imperial Surgeon is sending some orderlies to help Clytus back to his room.
You will surrender these fugitives at once, or the Imperial fleet will blast your kingdom to atoms.
That's good. It looks like the meds are really kicking in now.
A girl is like a blossom with honey for just one man. A man must live like a honey bee and gather all he can. To fly from blossom to blossom, a honey bee must be free, but a blossom must not ever fly from bee.
Well, there is something I never thought I would see. Okay, as the orderlies take Clytus away, I want to thank him very much for joining us today.
But don't fill him with anything above level 3. I doubt if the human mind could take it.
You heard him, boys. Keep the stun guns on low. See you next time. Hopefully.
And we're back.
And we're back.
It never gets old, except when it gets old.
I love it. We could use this one. We could go.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
Well, maybe you should.
Maybe you should. Or
In 30 seconds, you'll be dead. Then I'll blow this place up and be home in time for cornflakes.
You never know what you're going to hear on this show, folks. So, yeah, man. 1988, we're going to jump into the time machine and go back. We got everything fixed on the time machine because we've got good sponsors. And speaking of sponsors, our newest one, we got Brett Collins's Cleaners. And their motto is, drop your pants here and you'll receive prompt attention.
I'm not laughing at our sponsor. As a matter of fact, we're super glad to have them, and it's exciting to have more financial support coming in. So make sure to give them patronage.
That's right. And don't forget, we got the same sponsor from this week as we did last week, and that's Nicolas Cage's Acting School, where we put the ting in acting.
Oh, God.
If you want to be Ghost Rider, that's the school to go to.
Well, yeah, I mean, actually, Nicolas Cage. What about in Kick-Ass, where he plays Big Daddy?
I don't know, kids. What do you think about that one? Yeah, I kind of like it.
Yeah, well, he was doing his best Adam West impersonation. Is what I love about it. It's just he makes odd choices as an actor.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. Well, just a little.
Raising Arizona. That's good enough for me.
I mean, I think that if you go through Nicolas Cage movies, you'll be surprised at how many of them he doesn't ruin, and he actually makes a lot more fun. I did this because I was like, Nicolas Cage isn't that good. And then I started watching movies with him in it just to kind of check it out. And really, if you don't get into like Michael Bay blockbusters, i.e. like, National Treasure, then a lot of them are really likable. And especially when he's a supporting character, he's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, shout out to you, Uncle Nick. I'm trying to talk you up, man.
Uncle Nick. All right. Without further ado, you know what time it is. It is time to jump in the time machine.
1988. Here we come.
We've been here a few times already.
Yeah, well, I was going to come back.
Oh, my spine.
You got another one. Oh, wait, no, that's kidneys.
Yeah, 1988. Wow.
I'm not tired of it exactly, but yeah, you're right. We have been here before. Look, it's the same two guys.
Yep. Oh, man, my Swatch stopped working.
Well, yeah, that's how they did.
They were such high quality,
Well, you saved all your money up for that see-through jellyfish, and
That's
what
right.
happened? First it gets scratched up, then it quits working.
That's it. No more Swatch. All right. In order to get into this movie, Pumpkinhead, we have to have a synopsis. So, we had Natasha earlier, so now we got Boris. Here's Boris with Pumpkinhead.
This is Boris of Boris and Natasha to talk about Pumpkinhead. When a poor boy obtains a dog for his birthday, all are shocked to discover the dog's odd-shaped head. The two get involved in an adventure or something. Well, hope you enjoy it. Now, about my paycheck.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty good one.
He's kind of a diva. Want to get paid.
Well, So, yeah, man. Pumpkinhead. The very beginning of it says it all. De Laurentiis Entertainment Group. That's all you got to know right there. Actually, it's a little, better than par for a lot of De Laurentiis stuff.
Man, I like Pumpkinhead.
Oh yeah.
In the same way that I like monster movies that are just monster movies.
Yeah.
And there's nothing really. There's nothing to this one to distract you. They didn't try and make it into an alien movie or a dramatic retelling or any kind of a moral of the story kind of thing. No, man, it's Pumpkinhead.
Right. And that's the thing about it is, how many monster movies have we had where it was that awesome of a monster that's almost kind of iconic? I can't think of anybody else that you put in the same category. I mean, you got your universal classic monsters, Creature of the Black Lagoon, and then there's Pumpkinhead. There's really a big gap there.
Yeah, I mean, and you have slashers who are just, some of them become monster level. You got Freddy Krueger maybe, but Freddy Krueger and Pinhead, they kind of end up having this mythology that goes along with them.
Right.
And they have this story that's very specific to them. Whereas Pumpkinhead is really just a revenge agent.
Right.
And the only thing that makes him cooler than, I don't know, a Final Destination, kind of just people dying because they deserve to die, is how cool he is. Yeah,
I totally agree, man. They're one of the coolest monsters, period, ever.
All right, is that the show?
That's the show. So, Danny, what's your number one reason to watch Pumpkinhead, man?
My number one reason to watch Pumpkinhead is Lance Henriksen burning a big old pile of something with a flamethrower that he obviously built at home that's got a Dixie flag decal on it.
Well, yeah. We are in Louisiana, I'm thinking.
Was it Louisiana? I think it was just, the country somewhere.
Yeah.
Man,
well, I wrote it down in my notes. Sweatiest movie ever. Everybody in this movie is just sweating all the time.
Yeah, that's very true. And you got to be a badass to be sweating like that and still break out your flamethrower just to burn some random crap in your backyard.
Right. So yeah, and I think we said it a while ago that my number one reason. I mean, Lance Henriksen. I mean, come on, that's who you take this trip with. And we're all fans of Lance, without a doubt.
He's surprisingly good in this. Just like, he gives a lot of depth to a character that, I mean, you really have to like, or at least commiserate with his character most of all.
Yeah.
And through a series of images and through his acting, you really do feel a kinship with this poor country sap.
Right. Well, the relationship with him and his son, and they did a really good job of setting that up, because that's what you build the story off of, and I think they sold that really, really well. And Lance is the man.
I have here, and I'm gonna. Well, you go ahead with your next reason.
Well, to me, the top thing, as we said it a while ago, is just Pumpkinhead in general. I said the effects. You got Stan Winston's effects, and he directed the movie, so it's an effects extravaganza as far as I'm concerned. I think Pumpkinhead is one of the coolest looking creatures ever put on celluloid.
Oh, to that point, early in the movie, they knew, they couldn't wait till the end to really show you this creature.
Yeah.
So early in the flashback, they give you a little intro to how this whole revenge demon summoning works, and in that intro, at the very end of it, there's this, a little more than a silhouette of Pumpkinhead on the horizon, and it is phenomenal.
Yeah, and on top of that, we talked about it being a revenge film, but the thing that makes it different is it's kind of like the Corsican Brothers thing, where when Pumpkinhead is going out and doing these things and getting revenge back on these people, Lance Henriksen is experiencing that going on. It's almost like he's the one doing the killing. And,
right.
What a neat twist to all that. So again, it's the story of we are the monster. Even if we hire somebody else to do it, we are still the monster.
That's right. The revenge is the poison.
Yeah.
And you drink it, so you have to deal with the consequences. My next reason, and we kind of touched on this, but I definitely think it's worth revisiting. The plot, you could almost have in a silent movie.
Right.
It's all delivered through images. It wouldn't matter if you got the dialogue between Ed Harley and his son. Just seeing him washing his son's hand in that wash basin.
Right.
You feel the closeness, and you understand their relationship, and you don't really need his little, sappy monologue about how grandma used to wash his hands, but it all adds to it. Right. Because you need to care about these people.
Right. And you can tell that there is no companion in the picture, there's no mom, so it's just the two of them, and they've got this little store, and they're just trying to make ends meet, man. And that's, the beauty of the simplicity of it. Like you said, you don't even have to have the dialogue. It's very, very visual.
Right. And what Lance doesn't make with his grocery store, he manages to to scrape together extra funds by hitting things with his Dixie flamethrower. I mean, seriously, why do you need that thing? What is he doing back there?
I hear a commercial coming on.
Flamethrowers.
This show is brought to you by Dixie Flamethrowers. When you need to set something on fire, over there.
You boys ain't from the South.
You ain't Southern boys. You stupid Yanks.
Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
Yep.
They can work with Trauma. They can work with the Zucker brothers. They can do all kinds of stuff.
Meanwhile, back at Pumpkinhead. Next reason I got Haggis the Witch.
Hell yeah, any witch that's named after a disgusting Scottish dish.
Yeah.
It's bound to be pretty bad, man.
And she is the epitome of what you visualize in your head as far as a Louisiana...
like bog witch.
Yeah, I mean, she could very easily fit into Clash the Titans with the Sturgeon Witches.
Yeah, you take your story out into the swamp and you find the bog witch.
And she's
terrible. Yeah,
horrifying, and her voice too. Just, man, I mean, it's the epitome of witches.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. She is a reason to watch the film. She adds an element, even if it's been done before.
Yeah.
It's done right.
Right.
That's the point. It doesn't have to be a fresh idea to be done right.
Right.
And that's Pumpkinhead's a perfect example. Have they had revenge flicks before? Yes. Have they had monster movies before? Yes. Have they had slasher movies before and killing movies before and gory movies before? Yes. But all these things are done right in this movie.
Yep.
And that's what makes it better than a lot of its predecessors and a lot of its contemporaries.
And just the sinister smirk she has on her face when she knows what's going on. There's a I told you so thing about it. But
oh yeah, she loves it.
Yeah.
I agree, wholeheartedly. And my next reason to watch Pumpkinhead is when city meets country. What's your soundtrack? It's got to be harmonicas, right? Like this truck is pulling some bikes, and on the way, you hear that harmonica thing. It's the only thing that you got if you don't have a banjo to play.
That's right. Sweat and a harmonica is all you need.
And mountain people, man. I guess they're not mountain people. I guess they're swamp people. But holy cow, I guess there are still people that live like this. I think there are. But man, it's scary when you see them.
Rough living, man. Rough living. The other thing, like I said earlier, we know it's a revenge film, but the beauty of this thing is just when you get through the story it is totally unstoppable until the deed is done. There's nothing you can do to stop it until it's done what it's supposed to do. And that's what Les Henderson spends his time trying to do is, he regrets, this thing that's happened and the revenge that he's placed on these kids. And he's trying his best to stop it, and you can't. I think, man, just what a sense of doom that is.
Yeah, and like you said, he regrets it after the first person is killed. And I guess, we haven't gotten into what happens. We said we laid down the story that it's him and his son against the world out in the country, and these people show up, and through a mishap where these people are being unsafe, and they end up hitting his son with a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And when he gets back and he sees that that's happened, he's so mad that he recalls the preceding story from the prologue when he was a boy. And he remembers somebody getting chased down by this spirit of vengeance. So he goes up to this family farm in every sense of the word. And he says, hey, where can I find this witch that lives up here? And one of the kids, the parents want nothing to do with it. One of the kids is like, hey, I've heard what you're talking about, and I know where she is.
Yeah.
So he sets this thing loose on this group of teenagers, whether they did it or not, just to take them all out.
They turn Pumpkinhead loose, and he has no remorse, man. Pumpkinhead's a bad dude.
Yeah, I think it says it in the poem, man.
Right. Yeah, this whole movie was based off of a poem that was written, and they just kind of took it and turned it into this movie.
Right. So the poem is by Ed Justin, and there's a point where the kids of the country kids from the family farm are one of the kids steals something, and they say, "Oh, if you don't make amends, the Pumpkinhead's gonna get you."
Yeah.
And they start chanting this poem that goes, "Keep away from Pumpkinhead unless you're tired of living. His enemies are mostly dead. He's mean and unforgiving. Laugh at him and you're undone. But in some dreadful fashion, vengeance he considers fun and plans it with a passion. Time will not erase or blot the plot that he is brewing. It's when you think that he's forgot, he'll conjure your undoing. Bolted doors and windows barred, guard dogs barking in the yard. Won't protect you in your bed. Nothing will from Pumpkinhead."
Yeah. And then there's the second verse that says, "There was a man in Brazil."
Yeah, I like that verse.
Hail Ming.
And fun fact, one of the kids that's in that group of dirty country kids is Mayim Bialik, who played Blossom.
Ah.
Yeah, I mean, she's just wearing a little one-piece dirty dress, and she's chanting that at her little brother. And there she is. TV's Blossom, everybody.
Right. And another not known fact is one of the other kids is not Corey Feldman.
It's not Corey Feldman.
Hail Ming.
Corey Feldman.
Stay away from Corey Feldman unless you're tired of living.
He's mean and unforgiving.
Actually, the next thing I had on my list was actually mean kids picking on Billy.
Yeah.
That's that scene you were just talking about, so...
I'm not trying to steal your thunder. I agree wholeheartedly.
No, you did a great job because mine was 5 words.
Well,
mean kids picking on Billy.
I was rewatching it and I knew that was a poem, so I looked it up and I found out that the poem actually preceded the movie, and it kind of intrigued me, so I wrote it down. I thought it would be a fun little thing to tell people about.
It was nice. I enjoyed it.
The reasons to watch this movie are all going to be, visual. They're all going to be, because the story, we've already laid it out to you. Something awful happens. Somebody blames somebody else. He unleashes a beast of vengeance, and it can't be stopped.
So yeah, you've got, the opening scene, which sets it all up, like we talked about, where you kind of get to see the image early on. Then it really does take a long time for this to get to the point to where things start happening. But man, when they happen, it is awesome. Pumpkinhead does some incredible stuff. One of my favorite things is he takes one of the girls, climbs a tree, and drops her on a rock. Like a seagull.
That's the way we handle things in the South.
Yeah. I mean, he climbs like a 40-foot tall tree and just cracks her back across a big rock. I was like, how cool is that, man? I mean, he could just take her and twist her head and it'd be done. But he's enjoying this.
Oh yeah, this is what he's there for. Pumpkinhead embodies all the rage that was involved in this summoning. So he's got no remorse.
Yeah.
He doesn't represent that part of it. That's left to the person that summoned him to feel.
Yeah. And you got the guy that comes out and shoots Pumpkinhead, and he takes the rifle and stabs the guy with the rifle and just picks him up on the rifle.
Yeah.
Bad dude, man. And even picks up dude up on a motorcycle.
And he does something where he picks up a car and he throws it at a barn, but that's in the prequel, which was Huck Finn meets Pumpkinhead.
Hail Ming.
They're on the riverboat, and Pumpkinhead, and Huck Finn's pretty crafty, but it doesn't end well for him. I'll just say that much.
I thought, you get the redheaded kid that we talked about that's in this movie, and I wrote him down as Redneck Frodo.
I couldn't get Huck Finn out, but the Redneck Frodo is pretty awesome. From now on, that's what he is.
Yep, that's what he looks like. He's got the apple and he's eating it all the time. Redneck Frodo. So
here's the reason. One reason to watch Pumpkinhead is whenever Pumpkinhead shows up, you hear cicadas. Like in the middle of summer, there's that like locust swarm noise, and it always makes you think about the heat of summer and hot days and working outside and all those things. Whenever Pumpkinhead comes around, he's accompanied by that sound.
Yeah.
So it's kind of way country. It's a country sound, and when you see him coming and you hear that, it's really disconcerting.
And there seems to be a lot of light. Haven't quite figured that out yet, but every time he shows up, it's like almost like if it's like lightning, but it just stays lit up behind him or whatever.
Yeah, that's his entourage. One of them's got like a spotlight that they like shoot on his butt. Make him look cooler.
Yeah, he definitely looks cool, man. And then and we've talked about this one a bunch, though. The girl that he gets, and he's got her outside, and he's pressing her face across the window like, I've got your friend, look what I got, you know.
I think that's one of my favorite scenes of the movie. You know, they're all inside the cabin, and his hand is like, it's almost like he doesn't understand that this isn't a good method of baiting people or something. He sticks her face to the window and just starts wiping it back and forth. And she's, bleeding. And I don't know if he's trying to say, hey, come on out, everything's okay. Or if he's trying to say, hey, this is going to happen to you too.
Right.
But it's really weird. It's just a giant hand, like wiping this poor girl's face across a glass window. And everybody inside just horrified, like, what are we going to do about this?
And it's dead up Suspiria. You get the girl with the hand that comes through and pushes her face against the glass. It's the same kind of visual, except it's more of a taunting thing going on. And then he throws her down, and it's either her that he drops on the rock, but she's the one that's wearing the necklace. She's got the crucifix on the necklace, so he scratches a cross on her forehead. Everything
that Pumpkinhead does is nightmarish.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole... He's on this mission to get revenge on these kids, and in every possible way he's going to demoralize and destroy them.
Even to the fact of, they say, we'll go hide in the church, he can't hurt us in the church. He don't care.
He's like Rawhead Rex.
Like Rawhead Rex.
Hail Ming.
Which is ironic, because I think I saw both of these movies for the first time the same night. I think we saw, we rented Rawhead Rex and Pumpkinhead the same night. So
it's a good night, man.
Yeah. That's my childhood, man.
It's not hard to follow this story, but I'm going to say that there's a little parallelism, there's a little foreshadowing, because there's a prologue where somebody's on the run and people are getting killed out in the country and nobody will help them because of this vengeance thing. And that sets the stage for, something awful is going to happen. And when it does, he summons this thing again. And in that way, it kind of gives you it gives a path for the story to follow. When it comes into the future, or it goes to present day, these kids are running and they're trying to get help from somebody, and they run into the same thing. These country folk know that they're marked for death.
Right.
And there's no way that they're going to help them.
Right. So you got Redneck Frodo, who's kind of responsible for leading them to this part. And don't forget Redneck Frodo's sister.
Look, I'm not proud, but yeah, Redneck Frodo's sister, she's kind of banging.
Yeah. So, they hear a noise outside, so Redneck Frodo jumps out of the bed with his sister, goes to see what's wrong.
Yeah.
So this movie's got it all, man. Monsters, Lance Henriksen.
It's got monsters, Lance Henriksen. Did we mention monsters? Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, don't forget him. The flamethrower, Dixie Flamethrower.
It also has George Buck Flower.
Yes.
As Mr. Wallace. We mentioned the family farm where these country folk are out there just living their lives, covered in like a constant, sheen of dust. And George Buck Flower's out there, and you might not know him by name, but as soon as you see him, he's the country guy, talks about like this, and he comes in early on, and he buys groceries from Mr. Harley.
Yeah.
And he's got a voice kind of like, I can't think of his name right now, but the guy who was the coach in Major League, who was the outlaw.
The big mustache.
Yeah. Hey, that guy talks like this.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's just a couple of guys out there.
Nick Nolte sounding.
Yeah, kind of like Nick Nolte or Bo Bridges, Count Olaf.
Don't forget Nick Nolte's acting school.
Yeah, I think their slogan is I'll be careful, you'll be dead. They don't sponsor us.
No. Nick Nolte's kind of hard to deal with. Another reason to watch this movie: acid wash jean jackets.
Hell yeah.
You get some 80s attire going on in this movie, even with some fake leather boots with some fringe on it. They are styling.
Yeah, I mean, and actually one of the reasons I've got, now I think we were sharing a brain at this moment, is the giant belt that the dude's girlfriend, the dude who kills the kid, she's got the outfit where she's wearing some like pantaloons that don't come all the way down to her sneakers, and this great big belt with a buckle.
Heck yeah.
And I'm like, man, that is an 80s to the max.
Yep.
Then it might be 80s to the Pumpkinhead, because she doesn't make it. She's like, I can see that you're a pretty big guy. Do you need a pretty big belt? He picks people up by their heads.
Yeah.
With his giant maw.
Yeah, man.
Like he's the Grither or something.
He's awesome, man. I can't say it enough. Pumpkinhead's one of the coolest monsters ever. Quote, you can quote me.
So, okay, you get the idea. Revenge, teenagers on the run, a couple of them get killed, and then a few of them manage to make it. They get help from Redneck Frodo. They're trying to get away from it, and what happens? Well, Ed Harley realizes that this is all his doing.
Right.
And the only way to hurt Pumpkinhead is to stop himself.
Right. And another thing, too, that's so different with this is Pumpkinhead is slowly turning into Ed Harley. You're starting to see an image on his face that's starting to look more human. And that's where it all starts tying in. And you start to see Lance Henriksen having, like, his eyes change, like, to the same color, Pumpkinhead's and all that stuff.
And you might miss it.
Yeah.
You might miss it because Pumpkinhead and Lance Henriksen look quite a bit alike to begin with.
Kinda. But in your way, you're right, though, because that whole part of the movie happens so fast.
It does.
It's just like within 2 minutes, you realize, hey, wait a minute, something weird's going on here. Oh, it's the end.
And here's the part to watch for too. Like I think this is another thing that if you're commiserating with the characters at this moment is pretty horrifying. The only person they found that can do anything to Pumpkinhead is Ed Harley.
Yeah.
Who shows up, that he doesn't really explain what's going on, but he starts to actually stop this thing, and they have a little bit of hope. And then they turn around, and his eyes are the same color as Pumpkinhead, and he's not helping him anymore.
That's right.
It's like, holy mackerel, we're in trouble.
With that, we won't try to ruin any more of it.
It's a straightforward revenge story with a great-looking monster.
Yep.
And some awesome kills. And especially you horror nuts out there, if you haven't checked out Pumpkinhead, it holds up. Check it out.
I mean, again, like we said, Stan Winston. If you don't know who Stan Winston is, look it up, man. There's nobody that's made greater monsters than this guy. Think of Aliens, the second Alien movie. That's Stan Winston.
Yeah, think of cigarettes, like you get a carton of Winston's. That's Stan Winston.
Me and my Winstons, we got a real good thing. Oh, yeah, this movie is great, man. Love it. So, with that being said, it's time to get into Top 5 Lines!
Top 5 Lines! Yay!
Another cool thing we forgot. The pumpkin patch, man. The graveyard is pretty wicked.
True. Where he goes to bury his son.
Yeah.
Doesn't he bury his son to resurrect the demon?
He goes and digs up a body out of the ground and brings it back to the witch, and then he pours his blood on it.
That's right.
Yeah. Nasty stuff. All right, top 5 lines. My first one is the Haggis Witch saying to Ed Harley, "You're a fool, Ed Harley."
That's a good. I've got a. Then you got the a-hole who's with the teens. Who are saying he looks like his glasses are made out of Coke bottles.
Those guys were terrible, man.
Yeah, that guy was absolutely. The other people were kind of okay.
My next line is from Redneck Frodo when he says, "Pull your pants back up, sis. I'll be back in a minute."
Oh, I did not see that coming. All right. My next line is from Pumpkinhead, who says, "Hey, come on back here, guys. I think we can be friends."
My next line is from Pumpkinhead, who says, "Yeah, this first movie's pretty good, but don't watch the other ones."
Oh, Pumpkinhead having a little prescience there. Oh. All right, so my next line is from Stan Winston, who said, "Yeah, put Pumpkinhead over there. Yeah, I know we just had 4 scenes with him. Let's get a 5th one."
I forgot to mention that Dick Warlock is in this movie. He plays a character. And the last line I've got is where Lance Hendrickson says to Dick Warlock, "You gonna eat that haggis?"
Hail Ming.
Oh, in case you out there haven't figured it out, we probably didn't write down any lines. I mean, the lines that there might be some in there that are noteworthy. I'm sure that the witch delivers some zingers to old Ed Harley there. Ed Harley, you're gonna know the pain or something. But I mean, we're really just watching it for the monster.
Well, you said it earlier. You could turn the sound off and you still get the movie. So
yeah, it's true.
So I recommend you watch this movie and make up your own lines.
We should probably do that. We should do a bad lip reading of
Boy, I tell you
Pumpkinhead.
what, the second one we could definitely do that with.
Oh, Blood Wings.
Oh, that thing's terrible.
I'll tell you, there's one reason to watch that, and it's Soil Moon Fry.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, Punky Brewster.
Punky Brewster.
I always want you here with me.
I think we about hit the limit on that one. Let's go.
Rating time.
All right, rating time. I'm going to give it 28 acid wash jean jackets.
Okay, and I'm going to give it 3 truckloads on their way to the family farm. Truckloads of what? We don't know. Probably horse dung. It's probably horse dung.
I give it 72 redneck Frodos.
I give it 3 redneck Frodo's sister waking up in her nightgown. She's covered in dirt, but she's also covered in something good.
Oh.
Sorry, studio audience. Jeez.
Oh, and as always, the great Brian Blessed. What do you think of Pumpkinhead?
But there's no way I can help a man who's dead.
Yeah, I think he got the point.
Maybe so. Yeah. You have to. You have to kill yourself.
Go home.
I think it's it.
You go home and bury your son, and don't go messing with that witch, Ed Harley.
That's right. All right, folks. We'll be right back.
It's coming. Soon it will be here. Every year, at the same time, it returns. You can't hide from it. It's around every corner. It invades everything. Nothing goes untouched. When the weather starts to cool and the leaves start to change, you'll feel it. You'll see it. You'll smell it. From the makers of the movie Pumpkinhead comes something so insane, so vile, so hideous, it can't be contained. This fall, you'll get yours.
Pumpkin spice.
Rated R from New Lime Cinema.
Who are you? My name is Ted Harley. I hear you're the one to talk to about getting things done. things that no one else can do.
What is it you're looking for?
These kids came here from the city. They wanted to party. They wanted to have fun. My boy's gone.
Then he's gone. You best get used to it.
No! I was just gonna have a nice dinner with my boy, and now, because of them,
he's gone. What it is you're asking for has a steep price, Ted Harley.
I've got money.
I got no use for your money. To bring your boy back would take a powerful country grandma recipe. Are you willing to pay?
Anything.
I want your Sundays. You'll mow my lawn, clean my gutters, rake my leaves. That's the deal, Ted Harley. I get your Sundays, and you get pumpkin bread.
I'll do it. Son, come on in. I've got pumpkin bread.
Oh boy, that's worth coming home from hanging out with my new friends from the city. Hey Dad, can we play ball this Sunday?
No!
And now, Did You Know? With Wolfman Jack. Ow! Hey baby, it's the Wolfman coming to you live here on the Hell Ming Power Hour with a little episode of Did You Know? Did you know the origin of the story Pumpkinhead, baby, was a poem written by Ed Justin? Did you know the dog Mushroom, who played Ed Harley's dog Gypsy, also played Barney in the movie Gremlins, baby? Did you know that before being nicknamed the Wolfman after my voice changed, they called me Pumpkinhead because of my big old noggin? That's right. Did you know Lance Henriksen gathered all of the silver dollars himself by visiting several pawn shops? He said that most of them fell through the floorboards of Haggis's shack, where they still may lie to this very day. Did you know Lance also had a set of dentures made to give him a more rural look? He also gathered all of his own props and wardrobe, including a World War II pump-action shotgun. His cap worn throughout the film as well. Did you know I thought this movie was a howling good time? Ow! Did you know, baby, the costume Florence Schaffler wore as Haggis weighed more than 65 pounds? Did you know this film, orphaned by the bankruptcy of De Laurentiis Entertainment Group, eventually garnered a spotty release when it was acquired by United Artists, which tested the film under an alternate title called Vengeance, the Demon? You've been listening to Did You Know? On the Hell Ming Power Hour with Wolfman Jack. This is the Wolfman Jack signing off, baby, on WMNG. That's Ming Radio, baby. Ow!
Hey, Mitch here from Dixie Flamethrowers. Do you have problems with all kinds of crap? Junk, stuff, yard clippings? Well, fret no more, Chinstrap, because we got you covered. Dixie Flamethrowers. I know what you're saying. I ain't got no use for no flamethrower. It don't suit my particular style. Sound about right? Good news for you. I got a rusty worn tank and a Dixie flag right here on the side. Perfect for when the South shall burn again. But hell, don't take my word for it. Hey Harley, fire up that Dixie flamethrower. just perfect for when you got yourself a big old demon to take down. Yeehaw!
All right, folks, hope you enjoyed this episode. We like this movie a whole lot. You can't beat this one as far as a monster movie, a revenge flick, all rolled into one. Lance Henriksen, like we said. So I highly, highly recommend Pumpkinhead, without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that Pumpkinhead is one of those things where it doesn't try and overdo what it is.
Yep.
It's got a, I think I mentioned a moral earlier. It has a moral, that like Rick said, we are the monster. When you unleash that vengeance, it comes back on you tenfold. I think that's even something that the witch says. So it's got a moral in there, but it doesn't beleaguer the point. It knows that it's a monster movie who kills a bunch of teenage kids. And where are you going to go with that, really?
Yeah, that's all you need to know. So I think it's different for the time that it came out because you did have slasher-rama going on. Everything was a slasher flick. So might have hurt the popularity of this one just because it's a classic kind of throwback monster movie. But man, what a monster. What a movie. There's so many ways that this could have gone wrong and ruined the movie, but I think it was a well put together film.
It stuck to the plan.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't try and do more than it needed to. I mean, maybe some of the country stuff is a little overdone.
I don't know. It still ties into the whole folklore of why there would be a poem about this situation. And you're dealing with an older society, I guess you'd say. So it works, man. Like I said, sweatiest movie ever made.
And, I think there's probably a movie out there that's going to refute you on that. Our movie was sweatier. But, screw them.
Yeah. So yeah, man, everybody grab your Dixie flamethrower and just have a big time watching this movie. Don't hesitate. Check it out.
Turn the sound down if you want.
Sure.
Tell us what your favorite made-up line is.
There you go. We'll start that on the Facebook page. Put out your favorite fake Pumpkinhead line on the Facebook page, and we'll see who's got the best one.
I like it when Pumpkinhead picks that girl up and says, "Welcome to prime time, bitch."
I don't know, man. Redneck Frodo, he's got it going on.
Yeah, he does.
All right, folks. So that's it for us. I'm Rick.
And I'm Danny.
And we'll see you next time.
The loss of a loved one can be a moving episode in anyone's life. When faced with such harrowing trials, one must exercise caution, where strong emotions can lead one astray. Maybe think in these trying times of what the loved one would want. For instance, ask yourself, would my loved one want me to corrupt my soul for vengeance? Or maybe, would my loved one want me to deal with a nightmarish soulless witch? If the answer to either of these are no, course correct, and don't go down that path. Then maybe ask, would they want me to have ice cream? I suppose the answer could go either way, depending on one's particular lactose tolerance. Well, goodbye everyone. See you soon, and remember, actions speak louder than catchphrases.
Members of the audience will receive the following: classic curves by Dittos, the pants for feel-good company, a gift certificate from Maru-chan Ramen Noodles, Rice-A-Roni. All guests receive a copy of the El Ming home game. Thanks to the creative minds and special appearances of Mark Allison, Jeremy Finch, and Jacob Kennedy. Hail Ming is a proud member of Legion Podcasts. Check out all the great shows at legionpodcast.com. Hail Ming is available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Legion Podcast. This is Dan Pardo saying good night.
are going to empty your memory.
Demon of the Black.
If we stopped the torture